Ladies and gentlemen, just when you thought it couldn't get any worse in the crypto markets, along came FTX, one of the biggest crypto exchanges in the world, which, if you've been following the space recently, went bust, and pretty much all investors and people who kept their funds with them are guaranteed to lose all their investments, which is really bad for the crypto markets, especially since the last few months where the markets went down already. People lost so much money, and now some of the people who trusted them and kept all their funds and crypto with them basically lost all of it. There might be a small chance that some of it could be potentially recovered, but it's pretty unlikely if you ask me. Now, a lot of you have been asking me, Kai, what's next? Is Crypto.com failing next? Nexo? Binance? What should I do with my crypto? And that's why in this video, I'm going to run you through my thought process and what will be my next steps for my entire portfolio, which is currently 100% sitting in Nexo. But first, let's have a quick look back what really happened to FTX. Now, FTX was one of the biggest crypto exchanges in the world just after Binance. They've been trusted by millions of people and even more institutional investors, and even some of the biggest investment companies like Sequoia Capital. They've invested a lot, and right now they've actually written off all of their investments because they don't think they're gonna get anything back. Another huge player like SoftBank is down nearly $100 million because of their investments into FTX, and they also don't think they're gonna recoup that money. And that just shows the lack of transparency that's still prevalent in the crypto space. Now, we always talked about the lack of regulations in the crypto sphere. In the beginning, we all thought that's a good thing because there's no taxation, nobody tracking you. But now it turns out we actually see the flip side, because now people like SBF, the creator and owner of FTX, really turned out to be a fraud. Now, again, I say fraud very carefully because I'm not really sure it's a fraud. It has to be investigated further what really happened. But one thing is for sure, they definitely over leveraged themselves, and that's really the danger. Any stock listed company, etc., they have to put out quarterly results, their balance sheets, their assets, their liabilities, their profit and loss, etc. It's very transparent. In the crypto world, for exchanges, there's so much less transparency. Now, they all say they're being audited by different companies, but one of the ones that audited FTX was actually based in the metaverse. Now, you do the math, that's basically just some kind of bogus company. But once again, a lot of people fell for that, right? Now, in hindsight, it's always easy to criticize. And that's why for me, I really don't understand how everybody is now giving a hard time for anyone who previously promoted FTX. Because arguably, they would have also lost money in the process, and they're not advertising anything where they're losing money, right? So who could have known? If institutions like SoftBank and Sequoia Capital get it wrong, how can a YouTuber or podcaster get it right? We can only get access to so much information what they provide us. You can't really go into their books and study all the transactions, etc. And ultimately, each and every one of us is responsible for our own decisions and what we do with our money. You're also not buying every single product that you've seen on a Facebook or Instagram post that's presented to you, right? So you have to make your own decision whenever you allocate and place and invest your money anywhere. Now, personally, I was quite tempted with FTX. I've never actually used them a lot. I did open an account with them, but somehow I didn't really get a hang of it. And by then I already had my favorite exchange, and I didn't really connect with FTX, even though I saw them advertised everywhere because they spent billions of dollars on Formula One, on buying stadiums, on all different kind of sports to get exposure. Same like Crypto.com and some of the other exchanges. And obviously that took a lot of money, which we now see is obviously missing from their books. And that's exactly the problem. As long as people kept on investing, putting more money to buy more crypto through them, there was enough liquidity. There was no so-called bank run where people kept withdrawing all their funds, right? There was a little bit when initially crypto prices reset a little bit, but overall, people were still holding their funds there. However, recently, when the owner of Binance made a few comments suggesting to buy out FTX, or alternatively withdrawing all his FTT tokens, which is the native token of the FTX platform, and CZ, the owner of the biggest crypto exchange in the world, is arguably one of the most powerful men in the crypto sphere. So when he makes such a statement on Twitter, you can believe a lot of people were nervous and also withdrew the FTT token. And that's when the sort of bank run or crypto run happened to FTX. People kept withdrawing their money and they were basically running low in liquidity, meaning they didn't actually have money to pay you out anymore. Because in the process of doing so, a lot of the people sold the FTT token, and that in turn dropped the price even further. And what turned out to be a lot of their liquidity was backed by the FTT token. Now, if that drops in value, obviously the backing is worth so much less. And that was the huge problem and the downfall of FTX. And that's why I don't really call it a scam, because it has been working. It wasn't really a pyramid scheme, but I think it's a matter of lack of transparency, while being overly ambitious and trying to conquer the world and promising too high returns, and probably also using some of the crypto and lending out some of the funds and cryptos of its user base in order to make a higher return from it on other platforms. Now personally, I have not been affected by this as I have been using Nexo for all my crypto transactions and holdings. However, I do really feel sorry for anyone who lost their money, because this is really unfortunate and once again just shows how volatile and still early on we are in the crypto space. Now the next question is, if any of you still has crypto on another exchange out there, what should you be doing with it? Technically, you have three options. Firstly, you can sell all your crypto, liquidate it into fiat money, dollar, euro, pounds, what have you, and pay it out to your bank account and get out while you can of the crypto space. Now, personally, I think most likely you're gonna be at a loss at the prices we are in, unless you bought really early on, but most likely you already incurred a huge loss. So honestly, I don't think that's the best strategy, because long term, I do believe crypto prices will recover. Second option, you can just pray and hope that the exchange where you kept your cryptos on is different. Like they all say, this time is different, we are safer. That sounds all good, but who really knows? Once again, FTX was seen as one of the most established and trustworthy exchange, and they went bust. There was Celsius, there was Voyager, there's so many others out there that went bust that were really trusted by so many institutional investors as well. Some people are already saying Crypto.com is next. You know, when the CEO of Crypto.com says withdrawals are being processed as usual, that sounds great. But when he says no FUD please, that makes me wonder, if they're so safe for the withdrawals, why would he worry if people are having FUD and withdrawing that? If they're fully backed, then there shouldn't be any issue. They have enough liquidity to pay everybody out. So that makes me wonder a little bit if that's really true what they're saying. When I started my crypto journey, I started actually with Crypto.com and I was very happy with them, but then they made some unfavorable changes to their terms and conditions. Then I transitioned my entire portfolio to Nexo, and I have been with Nexo for almost a year now, and I absolutely love the platform. It's been working seamlessly for me and I really enjoy the platform. The Nexo card, I use it for every single transaction to get 2% cash back. It's been working flawlessly. My funds were always liquid. I could withdraw anytime I wish, and honestly, I can't tell enough good things about the platform. I really enjoy it. However, looking what's happening in the macroeconomic environment, and more importantly in the crypto space with FTX and the likes, I'm definitely getting more nervous when I see these things. Now, Nexo obviously has a huge emphasis on safety and security, and they recently came out with Nexo's guiding principles for always keeping your assets safe. And here are some of the points that they're giving to comfort investors to ensure their funds are safe with them. Basically, they had $0 exposure to FTX Alameda, which was together with FTX, and any of their affiliates. So that's good to know. But then again, maybe they have exposure to another exchange which will in the future collapse, right? So that's good to know in that case, but what will happen in the future? They say they have 100% fully backed reserves, and they say it's verified by a real-time auditing US company called Amanino, if I pronounce that correctly. And that should give us trust that they have enough backing of the funds and not lending out your crypto to other exchanges to make more money from it. Also, the fact that they're using over-collateralization. Whenever you take a loan, you have to collateralize it with crypto. So you need to have enough collateral that they'll be sure that you'll be able to repay the loan you took in case you did. Also, the fact that they had $0 lent to failed institutions, to any of those who previously failed, like Celsius, 3 Arrows Capital, UST Luna, or HODLNOT. Again, that's great, but who knows what the future is? That obviously means that they are lending to some institutions that for now worked, but what happens if they don't? That's a nice point, that the Nexo token represents less than 10% of all assets, so that's very good, because in the case of FTT, apparently that was more than 10%, and that's why when the price dropped, they obviously had a huge issue. Plus the fact that they obviously have licenses and global registrations around the world, $0 of any client funds lost in that time, which is great, and a custodial insurance of $775 million. Now that sounds like a lot, but if you think about the money that all investors combined invested into Nexo, that's probably going to be significantly more. So even if everybody loses their money, they will only get back a fraction, but still better than nothing. So as I said, I really appreciate what Nexo is doing, especially in these difficult times, and they have really weathered the storms already with so many other companies going bust. They've really been always focusing on safety and security and safeguarding the assets of users and investors. So that's really assuring to know. However, as much as I love the platform and I love things like 2% cashback on every single transaction using my Nexo card, plus daily staking rewards on my Nexo, on my Bitcoin and on my Ethereum, that's amazing. But ultimately, these small rewards are not worth for me jeopardizing my entire portfolio, which at some stage was around $50,000. That's too small of a benefit for me to risk everything to potentially not be able to withdraw any of my funds. And that's why I have decided to withdraw all my funds on Nexo, and instead I will transfer everything onto my Ledger hardware wallet, because this is the real reason why crypto was invented, to be able to take custody of your own crypto, of your own investments, of your own funds, because this nobody can take away from you. There's always been the famous saying, not your keys, not your crypto. if you give your keys to an exchange, they can do what they want with it. They can lend it out, they can borrow against it, whatever. If that is on your hardware wallet, your crypto is still going to be on the blockchain, but you are the owner of it because you have the private key to access those. Nobody else can do anything with it, and they can't sell it, they can't borrow it, and therefore you always own them. So even if the price drops, you just hold on to them, and if one day it recovers, then you can once again put them on an exchange, sell them, and you get the money for it. So it was a painful decision for me, but as I said, right now the benefits of staking rewards and cashback is just not worth the risk of potentially losing out everything. Now, Nexo is doing an amazing job, and I believe in them, but ultimately I need to be selfish and egoistic about my own funds because trust is good, but control is better. And being in control of my own crypto is the ultimate freedom, I believe. Heck, we've seen even banks, traditional banks go bankrupt. So why can't another exchange go bankrupt? So it's really high risks, high stakes right now, especially with the low crypto prices we're seeing right now. Now, the only exception is for all my Nexo tokens, I will naturally keep them on the Nexo platform because I'm still going to use my Nexo card to make payments and in the process accumulate more Nexo tokens. So I'm still going to keep my account, I'm still going to keep my card, and I'm still going to keep all my Nexo tokens on the platform. Everything else, my Bitcoin, Ethereum and Polygon, I'm gonna withdraw them and put them all onto my ledger. And I'll shortly make a video showing you step by step how you withdraw the money from Nexo or any exchange for that matter and send it to a hardware wallet, in my case the Ledger hardware wallet. Now guys, that's my personal decision. Ultimately you have to make your own call and decision what you want to do with your funds. If you have any questions on that topic, please pop them in the comments below. I get back to every single one of you. If you enjoyed the video, please smash the like button, and if you haven't subscribed yet, then please do so. Really means the world to me. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, thank you so much for watching. Stay healthy, get wealthy, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.